What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about Gearbox's new DLC for Borderlands 2 that is free to anyone who owns Borderlands 2 or the Handsome Jack collection, and it's called Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary. It's a little DLC pack cooked up by the Quebec chapter of Gearbox for the purposes of bridging the line between Borderlands 2 and the fucking Borderlands 3. So it's kind of an in-between the events sort of thing. It's free for the month of June into July, and then I think July 9th or 10th, somewhere in there, it's going to be $15.
Yeah, so make sure that if you do own Borderlands 2 or the Handsome Jack collection, that you go and you add this DLC.
Yes, it's a huge value, huge upgrade.
Because you will have to add it, but it is free, and it will download like a normal DLC that is paid for, and I'd say it's as big as a DLC.
It's definitely, I would say it is exactly what you would expect from a season pass content drop from Destiny.
Yeah, more,
yeah. I agree. So, like, when you consider Dark Below, Rise of Osiris, whatever the fuck they're all called, all those DLCs that were included in the $35 after $60 day one season pass, this is just as significant as one of those packs. And technically cheaper, since the season pass is $35 each DLC. I think it's $20 if you buy it by yourself, but $35 for the season pass
would be
still
around
like $17.50 a DLC pack, which is $2.50 more, and in my opinion, less meaningful content. Here's my issue with the problems I have personally with Destiny is this. So we were talking about this before, and Chubbz was talking about World of Warcraft and its obvious influence in Borderlands, which is, it's obvious. If you've played World of Warcraft at any point in time and then played Borderlands and you enjoyed both of those games, you can see the similarities and the inspiration drawn from World of Warcraft and implemented into Borderlands. The fucking skill trees, the gear drops, the bosses, the fucking raids and raid bosses. Now, the same could be said about Destiny, but here's my problem with Destiny. You have a man who's at the forefront of that game, who's creative lead, whatever he is, Luke Smith, and he comes out in these interviews where he talks about fucking classic vanilla WoW and him playing it and him being there when the gates of AQ40 were open and him actually being the one to win the Black Bug mount, which was a limited time thing only given out once per server. Huge accolade in a game like World of Warcraft to be able to say you have that. You have him from Destiny 1, which, let's just be honest, Destiny 1 did not have a very complex or varied skill tree, but it did have options there for the player to play with. Higher levitation on your jumps, different grenades, different ways to trick out your super.
Not to mention the different ways to upgrade and change your weapons. So
yes.
There was more to play with.
There was more, absolutely more. And then there were the reputation factions, sure, they were kind of meaningless, but it was a cool way to earn some gear for just playing the game and earning reputation. I like reputation farming. I enjoy that shit. Mm-hmm. I especially enjoy that shit if, like, it's an enemy faction and just by killing them, I get a little reputation. Because that adds freedom for the player to sandbox style be like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to go to the moon and I'm going to slay Hive. And it would have been very cool as if while you were doing that with a mark of a certain fucking faction, you got reputation for that faction. And even there, the reputations were nerfed down from World of Warcraft, where many factions allowed you to do things like that. Destiny was just certain activities and other things you would get reputation towards that faction instead of the Vanguard. And it was just like, it still felt like a simplification. But moving forward from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 is you see a vast nerf in the way that the skill trees work. You see less options available and less things to fuck with as a player. And you see a more cookie cutter thing of the developer saying, this is how we want you to play this class. You have the explanation for this given by Mr. Mark fucking Noseworthy. He says, well, here's the thing. we heard a lot of people had confusion about how their class should play. So we just thought we would simplify it down and make it easier for people to understand how their class is supposed to play.
To dumb it down and make it easier for people to understand.
If you do not see the disrespect that this company has continually had for its player base, its day one fans. I mean, the Taken King thing with the dance emotes, I could bring that up, but I'm not going to. I mean, it's been apparent just through gameplay decisions and like shaders going from being permanent to consumable. I don't even care if you can repurchase them. It's all tied up in some bullshit currency that you have to farm in this game that you paid a fucking premium price for, and you're farming currency. It's for just things that you would think you don't need to do this. You don't need to farm currency to get a shader. If it had stayed the same as Destiny 1, you'd have that shader forever. For as long as you want to keep it in your inventory or your vault, whatever, you will have that forever. It's these sorts of things that I see. And then I see him talk about his love for World of Warcraft, and I do not see that reflected in Destiny at all. I don't see the reflection of someone who loved the intricacies and depth of a game like World of Warcraft where you could level up and fuck your character up, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so easy in that game to get talents for abilities that you're not using if you're not paying attention. You got to read the talents. You got to read your spell book and see how these things correlate with each other and what you're building and what you want to build.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to make sure you do it in a very good way.
There's a lot of reading and learning, which is why there's a lot of time-consuming events, right? You have to go back to a trainer in a major hub to fucking learn those spells and abilities. You also have to fucking go to the auction house, you know? And where you're questing may be on the other side of the continent from where you need to fly to do all that
Which
shit.
offers up this grand scale feeling that Destiny never ever once offered. Destiny always felt like little sections of a world, less than a world.
Yes.
And Borderlands does somewhat of the same thing, but it still feels like a world, because even though each area has these separations through these load screens and enter this place, and you know what I mean?
Right.
It still feels like you're traveling across a world. Right. It feels like this is a interconnected world.
Like it's an interconnected map. You can like point out a section of the map and be like, okay, that's where this would be according to the directions, right? So like the dust, or you know, where you start out, that's on the far southern shelf of the fucking overall map of Pandora. You know what I mean? So you can still feel the grand feeling of the world, like you were just saying. But another thing that it does really right is the progression. It doesn't fuck with the progression, right? And as a matter of fact, they added upon it from Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 is a perfect example of a true sequel to a game.
Yes.
If someone wanted me to ask, if someone asked me the question like, what would you describe as the perfect sequel to an existing game? I would say Borderlands 2. And I could argue many others. There's so many sequels that iterate on the existing content and make it better. Quality of life improvements, graphical improvements. In every sense of the being, it's a better game than the previous game.
Right.
But Borderlands 2 does it in such a way that maybe it's just that I've spent so much time in Borderlands and Borderlands 2 that I'm able to take this and be like, look at this skill tree, look at the ability, look at the way that they've tricked it out and made it different depending on which skill tree you decide to go into. Look at the multi-tree, system, where once you get past level 31, you're now able to dip into another tree if you want to. If you don't want to commit to
completely
just
fill,
if you don't want to commit completely,
and even
fill,
if you do completely fill, you'll probably still have some left over.
Oh yeah, you'll still have spillover into another tree.
Exactly.
And that sort of thing gives you this opportunity where you're adding complexity within the first couple of layers of the other skill tree. Because you want to, while you're making this skill tree, you got to understand that at some point people are going to dip into multiples of these. And the great thing about World of Warcraft, the older World of Warcraft before Kata, was that there were abilities within the other two trees that were complementary to the other two trees, if that makes sense. So if you were going protection, for example, as a holy paladin, you could, or as a paladin, not a holy paladin.
Right.
You went protection, you were tanking. There's skills that can increase your fucking like mana cost other things that are still beneficial to that class found within the first few tiers of the other two trees of Holy and Retribution.
Yeah.
And the same could be said for Borderlands. So that, like, for instance, my Krieg, I'm building in the middle tree, which at the end basically just turns him into a super mutant and lets his fucking skill, his super ability be on cooldown all the time. I can always use it if I use it in the right time and strategically make sure that I'm able to pop it before I go down. But on top of that, now I'm building into the flame tree, which has melee damage, and this will increase your chance to get fired, to light enemies on fire with your melee. And since I'm always supered and all of my attacks are melee, my axe now has a torch attached to it.
Yeah.
So it's complementary of the tree I was going, because they understood that their people were going to dip out of the one tree. So make the other trees complementary into that.
Oh yeah.
And so that's one way. Gear-wise, there's such a wider variety of guns and gunplay and grenades and grenade play in Borderlands 2 than there is in Borderlands 1. There's grenades that you throw and they shoot out rockets. There's grenades you throw and they explode into a bunch of little grenades, and then the big grenade that didn't explode shoots out bullets. Right? There's crazy play going on in Borderlands 2 compared to Borderlands 1, and it is 100% a grander, bigger, better feeling.
Because not only did it add upon the gameplay and the progression and the world, but it also built upon, like you said, the quality of life improvements. The mini-map, taking away the compass, making it easier to see where you're going on the map, easier to see where the enemies are on the map. All that kind of shit, you know what I mean?
So here's the thing about Gearbox, is I feel like they have been put in this situation that most companies deserve to be in and hardly often find themselves in, where they have blind faith and stupid followers that will just do whatever and say whatever and defend whatever you do. Mm-hmm. You no longer have to fucking work for the respect of your fans. You no longer have to work for the respect of the audience as a content creator, because you just know that it's inherent that your fans are hobbyists and sandbox enthusiasts that are going to defend your game and all the moves that you make as a company that is fucking counteractive to the overall betterment of the experience for the gamer. Mm-hmm. You're going to fucking take advantage of that blind faith. Well, Gearbox is put in a situation where they can't really do that. Now, it's not just Battleborn. Battleborn is a huge part of it, especially if you were, like me, a Borderlands fan. Like, I didn't know about Colonial Space Marines, right? I didn't know about Duke Nukem and all these other things that fell short of what was promised and the hype machine that exists in all game studios. They're selling hype, they're selling cool. I had no knowledge of that. I fucking loved Borderlands, and I loved Gearbox because to me they were cool, because I had played Borderlands 1, I had played Borderlands 2, and those games are fucking amazing games. So when I hear about Battleborn, you hear about Battleborn, we start talking about it, and we hear that it's going to be like a MOBA-like thing, and we get into the fucking beta and other things, and we're playing it, and we're like, holy shit, this is insane. This is like a MOBA first-person shooter with tower defense elements, but it's got a jungle, but the jungle is different than any other MOBA I've ever seen. Responsibilities are different.
Yeah, because the elements of the tower defense and the lane push is super important, so the role of the jungle is vastly different. Instead of just popping out into the lane and fucking ganking somebody, you're actually sending minions to the lane, you know what I mean?
Yeah, helping the push.
Yep, you got the crystals so that you
flanking
can build.
Is definitely a part of it. You still got to flank and gank.
Oh yeah, but it's also part of the tower defense, because you get the crystals and that builds the towers.
It is fundamentally a MOBA in this aspect as well, is if you have a teammate or they have a teammate that doesn't understand that each death matters, that each death is either benefiting your team or hurting your team, they run forward like thinking it's a Call of Duty shooter, like I just have to shoot them and they'll die, right? They don't understand scaling. They don't understand weapon is going to hit harder once you've leveled up. So they will run gung-ho as a level 1 at a level 4 and think that they can win that fight. When in actuality, the stats say no, you will always lose this fight.
You're dead.
You need help from a teammate. You need help from a jungle camp.
You are underfed.
You need help. You need something else putting damage on them. In a straight up 1-to-1 fight, you will lose every time. Mm-hmm. Because you are leveling up, right? You understand that he's a level 4, you are a level 1.
People don't understand that, though. They don't look at it as like a chess game. It's like you said, they think it's Call of Duty. It's not like a chess game where each piece on the board matters. Each move you make fucking matters. You need to be defensive and offensive at the same time. Know when to bounce back to heal yourself. Know when to get out of trouble. Know when to fucking jump into the fight. All these things matter in a game like Battleborn. And instead, people are like, you just said, rush in.
Yeah.
I don't care. Fuck it.
and that's the thing is, that aspect of it was so amazing. But what happened with Battleborn to us as day one buyers and fans of this company for Borderlands is we received a free-to-play product that cost us $60. Almost 90% of the roster was buried behind unlocking challenges and playtime and things like that, which is fine. I don't mind unlocking things as you go. But on top of that, there was the currency that was drip fed out to you that you had to use in order to buy the loot. And it felt like what they had done was they had taken what little they had and they had overcomplicated it to extend gameplay, which felt insulting to me as someone who's experienced the free-to-play model, who's, leveled in Smite to level 30 and played beyond that and done the ladder system and things like that. It's having done all of those things and experienced this same exact grind, having you let me unlock shit at the same rate I would in a game that I don't have to fucking pay to step into the door is insulting. Mm-hmm. And it's double fucking insulting when it's a company that I love from a series that developed a series that I loved, that I have spent many, many hours playing. It's infuriating on top of infuriating.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's the thing with Destiny. Like, I don't think I give a fuck about Destiny or am pissed off about that game nearly as much as some other people who fucking come from the Halo days. Mm-hmm. And have seen this company continually shit on its fans. Like, let's be real. If Commander Lilith and the fucking Fight for Sanctuary were a DLC pack for Destiny, they would be selling it for $40. Mm-hmm. They would think that their work was worth that.
There'd be no level increase. There'd be a gear increase.
And it wouldn't be a new map. Like, it wouldn't be new areas, new enemies, things like that. It would be completely just reskinned area, reskinned, textures. It would be a new, like, Rise of Iron.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you could say that's a new area, but you can also take certain sections of it and say, this is on the fucking Mars.
Yeah.
This is on the moon.
Yeah.
And it's like, legit, they just took these sections of map, put them together in a different way, fucking textured it with new fucking colors and things, and sold it for $40.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Gearbox has the Quebec studio of the Quebec chapter of their studio working on a free DLC that they intend to give away for free for a month. You can have this. And I feel like the reason they're doing this is because of the situation they found themselves in with their fans, where they lost a lot of goodwill, not only from the previous things, but Battleborn especially.
Oh, yeah.
Battleborn especially made wrong move after wrong move after wrong move.
It was a true, undercooked, half-baked product. I mean, think of the concept. The concept alone is kind of cool, but it fell short because, keep in mind, it's a Gearbox game, and the story mode of their games is what they're known for. You hear a thing like this game is having a story mode, and so it's like, okay, I don't mind that there's a story mode that I'm paying for and that I have to play to unlock the characters, but the story mode was not
It wasn't like it wasn't a Borderlands story.
Yeah, it wasn't a cohesive story. It didn't tie any characters. It was just hints that you were supposed to already know. It felt out of place, out of context, and it felt like a true just like training for the PvP. But then you hop into the PvP when it launched, and that didn't have enough focus in it because there were certain maps where the fucking sniper could just glitch.
Some of the maps didn't function. Like, the frame rates were just piss.
What was her name? Galileo? The whatever her name
Galilea.
Yeah, dude, they needed to balance.
I think.
But there was some balancing shit they needed to do. So the focus wasn't on the story because the story wasn't there. It was just training for the PvP. But then the PvP didn't have any focus because all of that shit happened and they didn't add any new game modes. Instead, they were adding more to the story missions with the different characters. They added the ops, so their focus was more on the story at that point, but the story, once again, wasn't there. It didn't make sense. It was out of fucking place. So that's the thing. If it had been financially successful, though, I genuinely feel that Borderlands 3 would be a lesser game.
Yeah, and we probably wouldn't be getting the Fight for Sanctuary for free. They'd probably expect us to buy it the same way Destiny expects you to buy their reskin bullshit.
Exactly, yeah.
Because that's the thing. When you give these companies the leeway to shit and piss on you by going out and down-clicking every video that disagrees with the fact that this company's not the fact, but the assumed fact that this company is a messiah. When you go down en masse and down-click those, but never once offer up a single decent rebuttal, I mean, I'd have to say the best rebuttal on our last video was that we were wrong about certain things. But everything we were wrong about is bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, even when we were wrong, it's like bullshit. Like, oh, you don't have to just get shaders from fucking loot boxes. You can get them from eating gear. Oh, so shaders are a currency. Everything's a currency now.
Everything's a fucking free-to-play game
once
it's
in your sticker book, you can reacquire the shader anytime you want. You just got to pay a little microcurrency for it.
Yeah.
Because it's a currency.
Yep.
On top of a currency. On top of a currency. On top of a currency. Because this is a live service mobile game. Yeah. That's what it is. Either way, when you give the company that leeway, that's when they take the game you spent $95 on less than 2 years ago. They take that and they give it away for free on the same day that they're releasing a $40 expansion that you as a day one player are expected to buy.
As well as everybody.
And then someone else defended it by saying, you don't understand. You don't have to buy the fucking Forsaken expansion. All you have to do is buy the $40 fucking new DLC and they'll bundle that for free. And it's like, okay.
Fucking do.
So once again, day one fans are shat on.
Yes.
And pissed on. And thrown in the dirt and taken advantage of. And people who wait to play the game, people who decide, I think I'll just hold off for less than 2 years.
Wait till Destiny
Get
3
everything,
drops.
everything in the fucking game for $40, and that's your defense of this company? You fucking idiots. But when you give companies that power, they will shit and piss on you. Like you were just saying with if we hadn't seen the outcry against Battleborn, let's imagine Overwatch didn't exist and we lived in a world where Battleborn rose above all of them and it was the top dog for a time. Before Fortnite Battle Royale, before PUBG, like Overwatch it rose up as the king of the fucking first person shooter, team-based shooter fucking genre. It rose to the top. It won, right? Let's imagine it didn't exist and Battleborn had filled that role. I think that you'd see them selling the currency in it. Because they're already selling dumb shit.
Oh, yeah.
In it. And that's with it being a flop and having a 0% player base on many platforms.
Mm-hmm.
They're still willing to sell dumbass shit. Even after that. So imagine if this game had been top fucking dog and all these brainwashed fucking idiotic YouTubers and streamers were like, today I'm gonna open $8,000 worth of fucking random loot boxes because it's fucking awesome gameplay and this is the best game in the world and fuck you if you think otherwise. Let me go fucking shove my thumb up my ass so I can actually come tonight. Anyway, that was a burn at someone that I'm not gonna fucking say. But I'm just saying. Some motherfucking
they would have been doing that.
Yes.
It would have been, instead of watching Overwatch loot boxes, you would have been watching Battleborn loot boxes.
Yeah, and I think they would have 100% followed that trend. But because they were forced to eat shit for their shitty decisions,
because it was a shitty game,
because the player base that was willing to defend it, because they 100% existed, they would come out on my videos and downclick Borderlands videos or Battleborn videos where I'm criticizing the moves by this company. They would say, fuck you, you're just stupid, this is a beautiful fucking game, you're dumb. There was some mobile phone dev, supposedly. I love how everyone on the internet is like someone fucking super important.
We've got our pulse on the
But he's like, I'm a mobile phone dev, and fucking gamers like you are fucking... He called me like a millennial gamer. Motherfucker, I'm like almost 35. What the fuck are you smoking?
And another thing that I find so funny is all these people who are talking shit, they like it, and the thing is we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We liked Battleborn.
Yeah, I like
Here's what I loved about Battleborn. The online PvP, because it was very competitive and it got your heart pumping. When you were doing good, you felt like you were kicking ass.
Oh, yeah. You steamroll.
But if you were dying and getting your ass kicked, if you were good, you felt like you could still bring it back.
Yeah.
Like one person could turn the tide.
Yeah,
of a
if
match.
they were super good.
Yeah, you could.
When me and you played, we hardly ever lost.
Yeah, we could turn the tide.
Me and you would team up on characters that were were overpowered together, and we could fucking 2v5.
Oh yeah,
after we had been doing all the things.
Us,
yeah,
because they would gank us, and we would just come back and be like, "All right, here we go.
Yep.
We're gonna fucking turn
Let's
the tide.
bait them into the fucking spider turret. Let's fucking bait them in there.
Build that son of a bitch.
And
you
then
go get the crystals. You know,
go get that fucking minion, and then come out and get this guy. And we exactly. Dude.
It's very fun with the online PvP competitive, and on top of that, because it is MOBA, you start out at level 1, but you gain levels, and each level feels like it matters.
And I feel like
you get the helix options.
I feel like the progression in that is so interesting too because of the helix tree.
Yeah.
But also on top of that, there's the kit that you build before the game starts that you have to unlock through the crystals.
Yeah, the loot box.
Yes, the Gearbox. But that's a compromise being made. Do I build this in my Gearbox, or do I build this turret, rebuild this turret?
Because the turret's going to help
Or do I build a robot minion to push the lane?
And it's very like you have to pick and choose. If you're with a team, obviously that decision is build the gear. Or if you're like by yourself or having a hard time or you're outnumbered, it's obviously get the turret, because the turret's going to help you fight off the waves as well as the enemies.
And it was super fun, competitive, fucking awesome game. I tried to play Overwatch, but I had played Battleborn first, and I know this might piss people off. I apologize. I'm not trying to demean Overwatch, but it's not my intention to insult your feelings by demeaning Overwatch. I absolutely 100% mean to demean Overwatch. I'm sorry. Coming from a company like Blizzard, I find that game basic bitch shit. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that there isn't competitive play there. There isn't potential for outshining other players. I'm saying when you look at like the helix tree for one character in Battleborn has more complexity and intricacy and need for the player to pay attention than all of the fucking characters in Overwatch.
Yep.
And so like that's the thing about it is I'm glad it tanked, because we're getting free DLC. They're giving us enhanced Game of the Year editions. They're remastering games and giving it away for free to the players.
Games
They're not
that
new
hadn't
high-res
been
texture.
touched.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Borderlands 1 is going to be coming to the PS4, which that
and
released way back.
When they do like legitimately do like a remaster, like your typical remaster-esque game, where they just basically reapply a texture pack to it and resell it to you. When they did that, I would say they did that with the Handsome Jack collection, but they bundled 100% of the fucking DLC for Borderlands 2 with Borderlands 2, and 100% of the DLC with the pre-sequel and pre-sequel 2. The amount of hours available in that game for $60 as a remaster, like that's a remaster. This isn't like BioShock, dude. This isn't like fucking From Software, where you take what fucking modders have done for free to the people smart enough and able to access any files and just, click, click, bam. Copy, paste, bam. Like, it's that simple. And you just do what those modders had done for free for the love of the game and the community behind the game, wanting to give people a better experience than the one that you piss poor offered. Mm-hmm. When you do that, and then you sell it for 60, or I guess they did 20 Dark Souls, but BioShock did 60. And not only that, you rip the old game off the store, so people no longer have the option to buy the fucking old version and just update it with fucking, which should be an option. You remove that option from the player.
Mm-hmm.
And doing these things, it's just, I feel like Borderlands has been solid. And it's been fair. It's been good to be a fan of the series. It's been good to be a fan of the company when you look at it in the context of Borderlands.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of everything else. Regardless of fucking Battleborn, Alien Marines. Like, regardless of all of these other things that they did. The Duke Nukem, whatever one they did that was kind of critically panned for being not nearly close to what they had claimed. When you look at all of these things, regardless of all that, Borderlands in my eyes has always been a solid fucking series.
Oh, yeah.
It's always been super fun. Solo or with friends. Definitely funner with friends, because it's easier in the harder difficulties, less frustrating.
Right.
But it's been this series that's continually rewarded me for being a fan. Whenever I get into a new piece of DLC within Borderlands 2 that I hadn't done before, or even Borderlands 1 with the Dr. Zed's Zombie Island or whatever, when I get into these sorts of fucking content packs that I've not done, and I still have that glimmer of excitement, like, fuck yeah, dude, like, new content, you know? Yeah. Like, this is new shit. And
I haven't done this before.
And
this
you feel like
awesome.
happy, you're smiling.
Yeah.
And then with this new content pack, they just throw fucking loot at you. And it's just this, it's a free content pack. Here you go.
Yep. And it, like, bunch of farmable bosses, entire new area, raises the level cap, adds a new rarity, Effervescent, and then on top of that, another really cool feature is being able to start a brand new character at level 30.
Yeah, they give you the option to just start at level 30, so you don't have to go through regular game.
What that does is it caps you at the warrior, which in regular game, that's your best chance at seeing anything good, and that immediately starts you at the DLC of normal game, so you can hop right into the new
DLC area and just do it.
Yeah, or you can.
Which is, I'm sure, what the option a lot of these games journalists took, considering how quickly they finished the DLC that took me and you about 16 hours to 100%.
Oh yeah.
But they had we're done with the DLC, because if you push the main story in the DLC, it is quite short.
You can beat it.
It's about 3 hours.
But with how many side missions in it, and then the
bosses,
rewarding
side
and the
missions,
raid,
cool fucking side missions. There's that homage to Scooter, who I hadn't even known died, and I had this little moment where I was like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. And like, those sorts of things where you feel the heart, you feel the personality, you feel all these things, it just shines out to someone like me who's looking for a more authentic original experience, and not some fucking football humping idiots that are like, oh, well, this is a popular genre, so we better do it. This is something that's happening, so we better do it.
This game mechanic is
never
trending.
over-reward your player base. Never respect your player base. They're all just dumb kids.
Yeah.
They're all just dumb kids that are going to defend everything you do no matter what.
And it's also refreshing that Borderlands pays true homage to WoW, and instead
in a way
uses
that's
it,
true.
Yeah, instead of using it as a marketing ploy to go out with some interviewer and be
or
like,
taking the psychological mind games that were put into World of Warcraft to get people to stay month after month for the subscription service, and instead of just ripping those things and exiling all of the complexity within progression, all the complexity within gear. I mean, you can only have one legendary or one exotic equipped.
Yeah.
One weapon and one piece of armor. Why?
Because PvP is too hard to work into PvE.
Also, because since you can only have one equipped and your best chance to get one is just once per week in the Nightfall, and that's not even a guarantee, this way it ensures you that you keep getting fresh guns that you're going to want to play with, because you can't use multiple guns at once.
Yep.
And it's going to give you the incentive to use those different armor pieces because you can only use one at once. Mm-hmm. Because why add complexity? Why add gear that plays with each other? And plays with your build and your abilities and your skills and your talent tree? Why have a talent tree that's even fucking worth anything?
Yeah.
Just unlock it as you go. Anyway. I feel like from all the Battleborn shit, all the hard feelings I've had towards Gearbox, they've won me back.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to play Borderlands 3. I fully expect it to do exactly what Borderlands 2 did to Borderlands 1, which was this evolution of gameplay, a true sequel. Mm-hmm. And I expect Borderlands 3 to be a true sequel to Borderlands 2. I expect it to have quality. I mean, already with the enemy scaling and things like that, I feel like I'm way excited for it, and I would buy and download that game today if it was out. I don't care where I have to buy it. Epic Game Launcher, wherever, dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm hyped for this game. I'm excited for this game. And it's because this company has now shown me that it will pay off to be a fan of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because even if they sell cosmetic shit that helps fund other things, you, as someone who doesn't buy those, will still be rewarded. If you bought Borderlands 2 and you never spent a single dime on any of the DLC skins, any of the DLCs, period, you still get Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary for free.
Yep.
You still get all of the skins and guns and levels increase.
Yeah, exactly.
You get all of that for free. Mm-hmm. You're not harmed. Your content isn't lessened in value.
At all.
All of a sudden, the endgame stuff isn't locked off to you. It's just not there because you haven't bought it yet.
Yep.
It's not like you own that thing that they're now fucking using as part of the end game. You own it because it was part of Borderlands 2 base edition, but now all of a sudden they've decided you can no longer attend that content because you haven't purchased a higher number next to your fucking title. So that's, I'm excited. We wanted to give our impressions of it. The DLC is fucking awesome, worth it. worth playing. Took us 16 hours. Added 16 hours onto a game that we've already got hundreds of.
I wanted to do a huge shout out to Gearbox for releasing a free DLC to a game that came out on the goddamn PS3 that has not only an HD remaster for the PS4, but was also bundled in a Handsome Jack collection, which means that that's 3 iterations of a game. They're still doing stuff for it. That's fucking awesome.
And it's good stuff. This is quality content. These are dope bosses with cool mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome farmable things that are fucking fun to play with, that fundamentally change the game and give you so much play with guns and grenades. How many grenades do you get in Destiny? 1 of 3?
1 of 3.
And how many of those do you use? The one that you enjoy.
Yep.
The one that you feel is the best. Mm-hmm. In Borderlands, these grenades do crazy shit. I got one that goes, I throw it and it turns into a fucking twirling fire spout from Mario Bros. And spits out little grenades.
Yeah.
It's just so much going on.
There's so much more to play with. And I really do enjoy the level 30 character because as somebody who's played through the base version of the game so many times, being able to start right at true Vault Hunter mode where it's just all about gaining the levels and gaining the loot, it's fucking excellent.
Yep, love it. Fucking 10 out of 10 in my estimation. Like, free. Awesome. Even if I'd paid $15 for it, I'd definitely feel like I got well worth my money. My dollar's well worth.
Oh yeah.
Well worth.
It'll blow your mind.
That's such a reasonable price for the amount of content that they just gave out for free. Is just $15. But they didn't even make us buy it. They were like, "Oh, you've bought our games. You've supported us and continually pat our backs.
You like us?
We like you too. We like you too, and we want to earn your dollar and your respect, and we want you to love us because we're awesome, not because we've brainwashed you little fucking half-wit fucks into defending us selling exotic guns and legendaries in fucking Korea by saying, oh, it's legal there. It's legal there. What's your fucking problem with them selling exotic gear in a place where it's legal? They can get away with it. Plus, those people are whales. By the way, cosmetic items are fine. I don't see any problem with it. I spend lots of money on them. But those Koreans are fucking whales. Get the fuck out of here with your half-ass fucking bullshit. Down-click and walk away like the intelligent motherfucker you should be. That's it for me, Jax.
Chubbz.
Love you, Gearbox. Keep it up, man. Take care, everybody.
We sang live, say highway. There's only one way you're gonna get through. When she starts to twist, be more like Chris. Pull your hat down tight and just do it when that whistle blows and the crowd explodes and them pick up dinner at your side. They tell you good Friday.